is not lost. Bitcoin is about to push to 31,000, so it's not all lost there. Just so you all will know out there, just in case.
Okay.
I mean, we're out.
I wasn't up. That wasn't how I expected we were starting.
No. But Bitcoin is 24 hours a day, 365. It's not like Monday through Friday like the stock market. So I'm just, I'm seeing the market green, and I just, give me some good news today. You know what I'm saying, David? Because the green I saw on the field with the Eagles was not good news. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you have to call Welt Rheaume, it's because you've got some bad news. They've got to bail you out of some bad news here. Your thoughts overall on the performance and the loss?
Yeah, the Kelly green wasn't money green for the Dolphins.
No.
Maybe Bitcoin is a little bit of a metaphor there. We'll find out. But I think we touched on it before going into this game that, sure, this game was going to be somewhat of a measuring stick, but it wasn't going to be some be-all, end-all for the Dolphins. And we know this team right now isn't going to be the team that will – be there down the road. They're going to get a lot of guys back from injury. They lost guys within the game, and then so many key players. There's double-digit Pro Bowls that were on the sideline or on injured reserve or whatever the case may be, just not available for the Dolphins today. So still some positives. You do like how they fought back, and they were down 2 touchdowns at one point, did tie the game, and then obviously 2 more touchdowns for the Eagles was a decisive outcome. But they showed some resolve, but still just it leaves them with something to still strive for, even when they had a lot of things against them, the officials included too. 10 penalties to none.
Yeah, no, I mean the what happened today with the penalties. I'm not blaming the loss and the penalties, okay?
Yeah, no.
But there were a couple that were just, both ways. Either you didn't call them, or they were kind of ridiculous in the calls that they got. So there were a couple that were unfair to the Dolphins. Now, and I cannot defend this for Mike McDaniel. In his year and 7 games right now, this has kind of been a habitual thing that his teams have had some penalty issues too. That's also been a problem.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, this team goes from the disciplinarian that Brian Flores was, and then for all the positives that you do have from transitioning to Mike McDaniel. And Tua even said it in his interview that he did with Sunday Night Football, NBC, Michael Smith, that we've heard it so many times from him, just the chemistry that he has with his coach and how beneficial that has been, that relationship. But one thing that Mike McDaniel isn't is a guy that gets on his players and sort of instills that same level of discipline. So we do remember Dolphins were always at the top of the league in fewest penalties, and then now one of the more penalized teams, and it reared its ugly head again today.
All right, so you tell me, how do they cut this gap with the elite teams? Because you got spanked by Buffalo, now you got kind of manhandled here by Philadelphia in a game where, by the way, the defense came up with 10 points. Actually, of the 17.
Yeah.
And so the offense really kind of, I hate to say it, kind of crapped the bed in this one. So it's not really that the defense got completely manhandled in the sense that they got totally dominated. At the end, yeah, they got pushed around there at the end overall, but kind of it's a game that you wonder, okay, how do they close the gap? And today, the problem wasn't necessarily all on the defense. There was more a lot of the problems on offense.
Yeah, that was one thing I came away disappointed that we didn't see the Dolphins really take advantage of, because the Eagles have a banged-up secondary. They have 2 safeties that are down. I mean, Darius Slay was playing, coming back from an injury. So a depleted secondary, and the Dolphins with a number 1 passing offense, and they couldn't take advantage of it to the extent that they needed to in this game. And then run game also. Now, the Eagles do stop the run very well, number 2 in that category, but Dolphins coming in with the number 1 run game, and then we didn't see that. I mean, Raheem Mostert was in the negative pretty deep into this game. So, and then Jeff Wilson, he returned, but then you didn't really get to see anything there. So, I mean, the Dolphins were down Connor Williams at center, Teron Armstead, who would anchor those two guys would anchor this offensive line, the run blocking. He would be some bulldozers up front, and then obviously you don't have a guy like Devon Achane either. So I think that the gap will be closed when you do get a lot of these guys back. And we talk about depleted secondary. Then Jalen Ramsey's going to come back soon. You didn't have X in this game. That would have helped a lot against a guy like AJ Brown in this game. So the Dolphins were ailing, but they showed some resolve, and then ultimately the Eagles were just they outclassed them.
David Furones from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, Dolphins beat writer. He is on the road in Philadelphia. Talk to me about the injuries, my brother. What do you know?
Boy, where do we start, man? Well, so first you had there were so many in this game.
David Long, who had a hell of a game, bro.
Yeah, David Long and Javon Holland had that collision. That was pretty scary. Holland, we all saw he went back into the game. So I asked McDaniel about him. He cleared the evaluation. So Long, McDaniel said he did not hear any update following that, but he did not re-answer. So probably further evaluations.
He also didn't want to say he didn't clear the evaluation. He didn't want that to get out.
Right.
Maybe there wasn't anything of that, but it's interesting how he says Javon Holland cleared evaluation and made it onto the field, but then David Long didn't make it onto the field, and yet, well, I'll give you the information tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So
oftentimes there's still more tests that they need to run. Obviously, he didn't clear to return to game action in the game, so that tells you one thing. Then obviously Isaiah Wynn went down in this game, so you saw Lester Cotton have to go in there. So I was wondering whether it would be Robert Jones or Lester Cotton. So Jones was activated the week prior off IR. So I feel like he's still not fully ready, but more so was activated as that 8th offensive lineman. So he might still need some more time. But Cotton has done some things. He even started last year's playoff game. Jalen Waddle was able to return from his back injury. Eventually saw him come back out, try to loosen up, and he was right back out there.
What'd you see from Liam Eichenberg in this game?
Yeah, Liam. Well, I mean, it was going to be tough again. So he's now had 3 starts. The 2 that are against really good teams on the road, then those are the 2 where it hasn't been as good. And then obviously played a lot better when you play the Panthers at home in the friendly confines of Hard Rock Stadium. So this was going to be tough. Obviously, just fresh off the game, so not too detailed on it, but. It was going to be a tough assignment against that Eagles defensive front, and obviously I think just across the board the offensive line didn't hold up to the level that it needed to against Philadelphia.
So your thoughts on McDaniel right now, dude? His offenses aren't responding in big moments. He's not responding as a coach in big moments. What's got to change there, dog? I don't know if you even have that answer.
Well, if Mike McDaniel's this genius offensive whiz, I'm not going to have the answer for what he needs to do with his offense. But it is a fair point. Just at this point, then Dolphins 2 losses. I know Dolphins fans don't want to hear it, but the 2 losses were against the 2 winning teams that they've played so far. Actually, right now, what could change that is if the Bills lose another game, because now they've fallen to 4-3 after getting upset by the Patriots today. But then again, on the road against a contender, and then you don't step up. Granted, a lot of things against you injury-wise, the penalty disparity, a lot on their own.
Chargers and the Niners last year, you were dumbfounded and you had no answer. So this has been going on now for 2 years in a row, dude.
That's that next level that this team needs to take is, all right, you already got to where you kick ass against the lower level opponents, and you win a lot of the games against the middle tier and going into maybe slight above average teams. But now if you're going to be up in this upper echelon, then you have to go win these games, and they'll get another one in 2 weeks against the Chiefs.
Do you think they realize that they're not going to get the respect? Doesn't matter the stats that they've put up offensively now, because as a Dolphin fan, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of us out there, we're kind of like, dude, same old. It's more entertaining this year, but we're really not that good. We can't beat the elite. So I'm wondering, how do they feel about all of this? Because the stats are fun, but dude, if you can't if you can't, beat the elite, it doesn't mean much, man.
Yeah. My takeaway from players seeing them was, disappointed, but just trying to stay upbeat, positive. So it's not like a lot of old days where like a Zach Thomas would really take a loss so much to heart. So I think, this generation is generally how they take games going forward. So you hope that it is something that can be a turning point, because they do need to start winning these games against the elites if they want to be up there in that class.
I give Waddle a lot of credit, dude. He had the back spasms, then he came back and had the big catch in the middle of the field, and I thought that was really cool. Well, what do you know about Waddle? Because it looked like back spasms. So I don't know if they loosened him up and he was able to go out there and kind of finish. What did you see from him in the locker room?
Yeah, I'm not sure what back spasms would specifically entail. I do know it was a back. His back was what was ailing him, so I'm not sure what it was specifically. But just to see him go back out there, that showed a lot from him. And then Cedric Wilson, for the time that he had to step in for him, and he made some key catches too. So that was something that kept the Dolphins in this game. Although we didn't see Chase Claypool,
Very disappointed that there was no Chase Claypool. They couldn't even throw a little fade pattern down the sidelines. That's something you don't even have to. It can be covered. Tua has the accuracy to drop a little teardrop there. I was really disappointed that kind of tells me that Chase Claypool is not trusted at all 2 weeks in with the playbook.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard the audio from McDaniel. He said that there was a package for him, so which really kind of leads me to believe, because I feel the game. He said game flow didn't call for it, so I'm thinking a lot of what his package might have been is some ground game stuff, like we've been talking about. If they were playing from behind and then the game flow didn't call for it, and maybe that's why you didn't see any of those plays, although it was never something where they were so far behind that you just have to pass until the very end. But maybe when they got tied and then they were down a touchdown, maybe you could have mixed in one of those plays if you did have him prepared for that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, what do you got going on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel, my man, so folks can check you out?
Yeah, just following up on this game, and then grading all the performances, keeping up with all the injury news updates, and then segueing into another week back home against the Patriots.
All right. Safe travels, my brother. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ a rough one, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend. There you go. Our Welt Rheaume Miami Dolphins post-game report. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, Monroe County. They've got an office down in the Keys. Okay, so you can check them out throughout South Florida, down at the Keys. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. If you think you have a case, all you got to do is ask. And the consultation is completely free. So if you ask and you tell them, look, this, and this happened, it happened then, it happened at this point. Do I have a case? Yes, no. Let's move forward. Rock and roll. By the way, they crushed Progressive for us. After we had a bunch of kids that thought that it were fast and furious and went through the wall of our home, they crushed Progressive because Progressive was lowballing us, and they didn't want to fix things and put it back to where it was, how it's supposed to. That's a Florida law. Things that you and I don't know about, they know all the loopholes. You know what? The stinking insurance companies and their adjusters, they know all the loopholes and the laws, and they take advantage of you and I, because how the hell do we know every law, every statute, everything that's out? We don't. That's why professionals do it, like Welt Rheaume. So call them 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.